Welcome back, everybody, to the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. Today I'm going to show you a pretty straightforward example of a river blocker bet, one in which I don't actually win the hand, but I can make it to the river and have a pretty clear understanding whether I'm ahead or behind, barring some crazy bluff, which will happen, but not too often. I'm holding King 8 of diamonds. I'm in the big blind. King 8 of diamonds is a call behind hand if I'm in the big blind, which means if I'm facing a raise, then I will make this call. If I'm in any other position and there's a raise in front of me, I'll be folding King 8 of diamonds. So the raise comes to 400 from the cutoff +1, and the action folds all the way around to me in the big blind, and I decide to make this call with King 8 for the reasons that I just mentioned. Now, the flop comes Ace 8-4. I must qualify my hand as good, bad, or mediocre. Second pair is a mediocre hand according to the poker model, one in which we're going to try to check, see if we have the best hand, not get too crazy, and hopefully flip our cards over at the showdown. So I make a check, and my opponent, who raised initially, makes a 450 bet, which is half pot. It's a continuation bet. It's very standard, which means he could just trying to get me to fold. He might have a hand. We really don't know. But my second pair has a very strong likelihood of being ahead here, and I can keep the pot small by just calling. So I make this call, and we move to the turn. The turn is the ace of diamonds, and I make a check here again. Now I still have second pair. If my opponent decided to bet here, this is what we call a second bet according to the poker model. We really want to fold to second bets if they come. Yes, it looks like the 8 could still be good. Yes, my opponent could have an 8 with a lower kicker, or could be bluffing or whatever, have some weird draw. But a lot of the time they will have the hand here. And now you're having to put a lot more chips into the pot. You're going to have to make a bigger river blocker bet, and the pot just gets escalated. So we usually bow out of hands here if there's a second bet. In this particular hand, however, there is no second bet. There's a check behind. So now we're at the river. It's the 4 of spades, which is pretty insignificant unless he was holding a 4 or something like that, which is unlikely. So what we do is we say, look, I don't really know if I have the best hand or not. I might. It's possible. You might have the best hand. I might. So I'm just going to bet 1/3 of the pot here. And 3 outcomes can occur. Number 1, you might just fold, and in which case I win the pot, which I'll always take. Number 2, you might call, and in that case, I'll get to flip my cards over, and I accomplish my goal with this mediocre hand. Maybe I'm beat, maybe I'm not, but the point is I decided how much money I was going to put into the pot, which was 600. The third outcome would be if my opponent raises over the top, and we have to know going into a river blocker bet that if I bet and I'm raised, I'm going to fold. Yes, it could be a bluff, but most of the time it means that I'm beat and my opponent has a better hand than I do. Because why would they be raising if they were unsure? If they were unsure of their hand, they would just call and see if they have the best hand. But really, they're either trying to get a lot more value out of the hand by raising, or they're bluffing. And trust me, this is a very tough spot to bluff in. A lot of professionals and people will make this play, but it's just not that big of a pot to justify making this bluff. So you can see my opponent chooses option 3. He raises to 2,600, which is a very large raise here on the river, and I can easily fold this hand because that was my plan the whole time. I knew that after I put that 600 in, I'm not going to put any more money into the pot because I have it kind of laid out where I'm either going to win, I'm either going to see what my opponent has, or I'm going to make a fold and assume that a raise means that I'm beat. So that's really what we're covering today. This is a river blocker bet that was unsuccessful in winning the pot, but successful in conserving chips, and that's why we use it here at the Poker Model. Thanks again for checking us out this week, and we'll see you on the next one. As always, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. For more training tools and Texas Hold'em advice, subscribe to our YouTube channel or pay us a visit at thepokermodel.com to see our weekly articles, bi-weekly podcasts, and other episodes of the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. Until next time.